Rick Horrow keeping score. We go inside the boardroom for yet another different kind of discussion. With social media so prolific, everybody has been trying to crack the code of monetizing, not just doing deals with social media and leagues and teams. And one company, Sportle, seems to have found out, 3, 2, 1. Sports professor Rick Horrow, keeping score. We're in the boardroom again with some diverse issues at the intersection of social media and teams and leagues. And very few people have tried to crack the code of monetizing and getting out ahead of what is inevitable with Facebook and all of the other companies aligning to the benefit of revenues in sports. Well, Sportle attempts to do that right now with a groundbreaking deal with Real Madrid, etc. Rather than having me describe it, let's have co-founder Adam Shaw and the head of international Pedro Duarte, who've also been with the NFL and Real Madrid as part of their histories, explain it for us. Guys, how you doing?
Doing really well here. This is Adam Shaw. Great to be on with you, Rick. So yeah, we're a new company that's sole purpose is to make it really easy for sports fans to stream all the games that they want to see, and also help out the broadcasters in terms of finding the audience that wants to watch the amazing games that they're putting on digital platforms.
Describe the circumstances and the kind of atmospherics that are out there with social media and the intersection of, for example, the NFL and its TriCast with Twitter. Everybody knows that the old media companies are intersecting with the new ones at a point where you can't tell the difference anymore. And you guys are at the intersection. So before we get into your company's special formula, kind of describe the overall atmosphere that you find yourselves in.
So I think you're right. I think you had for a very long time a very steady ecosystem in the sports media world. You know, cable came along in the 70s and 80s and really added an entirely new layer of content. It used to be just the broadcast networks, and with cable, there was a huge spike in the availability of content to fans, and that was fantastic, and people got accustomed to that. And then over the last 10 years or so, there's been a migration of how people, especially young people, are consuming media. And there's an expectation that you can watch what you want on your laptop, on your phone, or on your tablet. And so sports media was fairly steady for a long time, and now clearly, if you look ahead a few years, there's going to be an expectation that if something's on, that you can access it where you are, when you are, where you want, when you want. So we want to help make that transition easier and bridge the gap. And that's really at the core competency of what we're doing, and we think it's a really big opportunity. In terms of in terms of some of the things we've done recently, we just signed a pretty innovative deal with AC Milan, and that's something that I think Pedro can shed a lot of light on, and it's particularly meaningful for us because his background is phenomenal in the world of football, or as that we here stateside call soccer.
And before we segue to Pedro, I understand that Real Madrid has done some deals, FC Barcelona has done some deals, a lot of big-time European powerhouses have. But as I understand it from the research, nobody has done an earth-shattering deal or a foundational deal such as this deal with AC Milan. So with that segue, why don't you go ahead and explain it?
Yeah, sure. That's completely correct. The beauty of this partnership is that it's going to allow AC Milan to approach in a more efficient way the U.S. audience that is over there, that is looking for consuming very interesting content. At the end, probably you know that soccer is growing very much in the States, so there is a huge appetite. And all the European soccer teams are trying to approach the potential clients in the States, but they don't know how to do that because at the end they are far, they are creating just very overall strategies around digital, and it's extremely difficult to try to approach in an efficient way the potential customers, and maybe in the near future to sell them additional official services of the club. So what we are going to provide AC Milan is the possibility of targeting in the best possible way all the potential users that are looking forward to consume this kind of content. So this is the first partnership of this kind that the European, I would say not only soccer, but any European sports club signs in order to approach the US audience. So we want to help this club to start identifying where are the viewers over there or in the States, and increase all their CRM strategy and potentially start generating additional revenues in the States.
Adam Shaw, you were formerly with NFL Network, Fox Sports, and others, but yet co-founder of Sportal. What's so different about this? Why is this so unique?
So the opportunity here really is, while the actual games in a lot of the top leagues have been available on a number of the different sports networks for some time, what social media has really made available is to go deeper. And there's a lot of really interesting content that is being produced by the teams or their affiliated broadcast networks. That could be press conferences, or in-depth stories about the players, or the ability to see practices, or a number of the teams have B teams and C teams and junior teams. All of this is content that is really important to the teams, and we think is going to help create fandom stateside. So if you think about European soccer, there's a huge onswell of interest from U.S. sports fans. But if you said, who is the team, what is the European team that has the heart of the American sports fan? That hasn't been decided yet. So if you think about most leagues, there is some team that stands out above the others in terms of it's just got that bigger brand. And we think this is a really unique opportunity for those teams to capture that and to really be the team that the U.S. sports fan cares most about, because there's a huge opportunity in terms of merchandise sales, ticket sales, etc. And so we think there's a real opportunity for a broadly distributed application like ourselves that's going to pretty soon millions of sports fans to be able to take a team and really promote unique content around them. And some of the things that we're going to be able to do are very sophisticated notifications. So if somebody wants to know when the next AC Milan press conference is on, they'll get a notification on their phone saying, hey, click here to watch. So the making it that easy to consume the content, we think is going to go a long way towards marrying the team and the brand to the fans that are going to grow and learn to really love AC Milan.
Is the unique proposition here reaching the most avid fans and their sponsors, or is this for a more general sports fan as well? And part of that question is it for the American audience, the European audience, the worldwide audience, or a combination?
Well, initially, this is more focused to the U.S. audience because, as you know, Sportal.tv is initially customized and personalized for the U.S. geography. So what we are doing is to match the need of the clubs that is based on approaching the U.S. market with the appetite of the U.S. audience that exists, and they want to find content and they don't know how to find it. I mean, they should download a huge range of applications in order to follow AC Milan or Bayern Munich. So we centralize and we simplify how the users can get access to this content. But it's initially focused on the States. But this is a very interesting point, Rick, because this can be matched also with the idea of Sportal like an international site in which what we want to simplify is how the users can get access to content when they are flying from the U.S. to Spain or from the U.S. to United Kingdom. Our idea is to make this international not only trying to include in the state content originally from Europe or from Asia, but also to simplify how the people from US can get access to NBA or NHL or NFL when they are flying to Europe and they don't want to miss the most important game. So there's an international point, the international part of this business that is very, very important for Sportal. But in the case of some these specific deals, are more focused on the US audience. So trying to move the business from Europe to US.
And this is here. I just wanted to add one point. Pedro is spot on. And while the US is our initial focus, very soon we'll be rolling out some tools that we think are going to help tie the fractured global rights market together. So an example would be if a team in Europe wanted to remind people that their championship match was about to start and they wanted to use social media, they probably have 30 or 40 different partners depending on what region of the world that is. And so to send out a tweet that has a link to 30 or 40 or 50 different streams isn't feasible. So we're developing a link that will resolve so they can send out, hey, our incredible match is about to start with a single link, and where you are based in the world, it'll resolve to whoever is broadcasting the game in that particular territory. So we think that's very powerful and makes it really easy to create a communication channel that's as simple as can be between the team and all of their global fans.
So I guess my final question for you guys is maybe the hardest. Project with your crystal ball of what the vertically integrated, long-term, international media business looks like 5 years from now. Is it a traditional rights model? Does it include both over-the-top and all other forms of portable media itself? Are the rights more defined by the team and league, but are not just television rights anymore? What does this whole business look like generally?
It's a wonderful question, Rick. I don't pretend to be a prognosticator, but I do think there are a few things that are becoming clear. One is that much in the way of when high def came along and you actually had channels that were high def and others that were standard definition, you sort of knew at some point everything was going to be high def and the distinction was going to go away. I think the distinction between television rights and streaming rights are going to merge into one. Radio was a very different medium, and that lasted with the onset of television. I don't think that you're going to continue to see the same delineation. I think that 5 or 10 years from now, the video rights are going to be the video rights, and the only thing that's going to prevent that from transitioning sooner is that a lot of the existing rights are long-term deals that will keep a separation between how people are distributing those games. But I think it becomes a differentiation that doesn't bear very much relevance in 5 or 10 years, because the television screen is just going to be another screen, and most content is going to be delivered over internet, some sort of internet protocol. So that, I think, is coming. It's just a question of when that happens, and I think it's less of a technology circumstance and more of a rights issue.
Well, Adam and Pedro, you couldn't think of it any better than that, and the analogy of high def versus standard def is certainly a word to the wise relative to what the media looks like down the road. Rick Horrow keeping score. Speak with you in a couple of minutes.